Hey folks, it's Gordon again, and this is probably episode 4 of the relentless series I'm doing about my journey through grief and just kind of chronicling what I see happening to myself, and from the perspective of being a psychotherapist who specializes in grief, which is really weird. As I've said in earlier episodes, I know a lot about grief and know what's happening to me and know all that it's occurring psychologically and physically and that sort of thing. But to experience it firsthand is something different. I'm walking up a hill here. My routine today is much different. Normally I do these walks in the morning, but as I'm recording this, it's nearly 5 p.m. on December the 21st, the winter solstice, so it's getting dark pretty quickly here. Since my last episode, I've noticed that I'm still riding those waves of grief. Sometimes they're more intense than others. Yesterday in particular, it was very intense in that it was a milestone. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. My wife's name, as I've mentioned in the other episodes, her name was Mary, but everybody knew her as Sister, which was a name given to her by her brother when she was born. Her brother, unfortunately, committed suicide when Sister was in her early 20s. So that had a big effect on her life. But anyway, yesterday would have been Sister's 70th birthday. And I woke up and thought, well, I'll make it through this day. And then I came downstairs and started reflecting and thinking about the 20th being her day. And so a huge wave hit, and I found myself inconsolably crying and weeping there at home by myself. The cats were there, but you know how that goes. But anyway, that's what I noticed yesterday. One thought I've had today is that my daily routine was different today, and that it wasn't really a routine. I got up, had intended to go work out, been going to the gym with the weather changing, and I didn't go. I started working on the computer, working on a project I'm helping one of my wife's former caregivers, Ashley, do. You can check it out, mentalhealthweartn.com, where she's selling clothing, apparel, accessories related to recovery. So anyway, I'll try to put a link in the show notes here below. But anyway, didn't mean to digress, but the marketing part of me came out. But anyway, worked on that this morning, and then I got a text from my wife's other caregiver, Sharon, and she was just checking in on me and asked how I was doing. And I did the same. And just by, just kind of not impulsive is not the word, but maybe impromptu or randomly, I said, why don't we go to lunch? So I drove up to where she lives up in Virginia and took her to lunch. And it was the first time I'd gotten to spend with her since the funeral. And it's just talking about sister and reminiscing some of the funny things and how sister was pretty ornery and kind of demanding her towards the last, and laughing about her directness. And Sharon was sharing that sister very often would tell her just to be quiet. And so that was something we were talking about. Because as sister moved farther into her dementia and more towards the end of life, her ability to process things, to have tolerance for things, really went out the window. And so on the caregiving side of things, needless to say, that was very frustrating. And it tested my patience a lot, many days. But that was part of it. And that's part of the processing that I'm going through, of feelings of guilt, of wishing I would have treated her more kindly and with more patience. And yeah, that's, again, part of it. Something I'll need to process more with my therapist. But yeah, so that's where I am today. But going back to another thought I had about routine, and maybe this will be helpful for other people out there that are grieving and going through the mourning process and the grieving process, is to give yourself permission to break the routines. One conventional part of wisdom in grief recovery is you need to establish a routine to get some normalcy back in your life. But I think in those early stages, like I am, tomorrow will be a month since my wife died, and I decided today I'm just going to give myself permission just to throw any semblance of routine out the window. I'll wake up when I wake up. I'll take my time in the morning and see what comes of the day. I do have things planned out. Tonight I'm going out with some friends. It was a group of friends, still is a group of friends, what we called ourselves the ABCs, the Allens, the Brewers, and the Curtises. And so this will be the first time I've gone out with them since sister died. So we'll see how that goes. But so it goes. Told myself I wasn't gonna get this emotional this time, but here we go, just talking about it brings it up, and I suppose that's okay. But thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me on this journey and listening to these episodes. I've not really, as I'm recording this, I've not really put much out there or not advertised this much. Like I said, this is the 4th episode, and I will have that probably posted sometime tomorrow maybe, or by the weekend. But we've got Christmas coming up, another milestone. It's yeah, for anybody that has lost somebody this time of year, it really does. I can't think of a worst time of year. No time of year is great, but this time of year is the worst. So anyway, we'll make it through Christmas. My daughter and I are going over to my brother's house over in North Carolina on Christmas Day. There's a big party that my group of close friends has every Christmas Eve, and this year we're moving to someone else's house from the original place that we would always have it. But we were bound and determined to keep the tradition, and that's what Sister would have wanted. And I know my daughter and I are really looking forward to it, to be surrounded by those people that knew her best, and loved her the most, and loved us the most. So that's what you do on hard days. So take care, folks. And thanks again for listening to this. And please leave me your comments and reach out to me, especially those of you that might be struggling in your own grief. And I'm really glad to talk to you. Take care.